Thank you very much. And I have one more thing, Mayor, if it would be okay on a different topic. I would like to let you all know that next Tuesday we're rehearsing right now with people from Des Moines being in Lamars. But the Shooks will compete for $20,000 1 week from today in Waterloo on the Open for Business program. And they've already won $8,500. So we hope we can tell you at the next council meeting that they did win. Thank you very much for your support today.
Thank you for what you do, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to action item number 2. As the library position, the library board and library director brought a request for the addition of a full-time employee to the council on August 7th, 2018. The motion to approve failed with a 2-2 vote. The council asked that the library board provide additional information to be considered at the next council meeting where the council when the full council is present. At the library board meeting on August 13th, the board agreed to provide the attached information, not fill the presently open part-time position for 1 year, and the new full-time position will be for library 1 or less. It's open for suggestion. Oh, there you are. I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
If you have any questions, I'll do the best I can to answer them.
That library 1 is a position, Shirley?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on this bargaining unit list.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I went back and I looked at the YouTube a couple days ago of the council meeting last week, 2 weeks ago, just to review the discussion and everything, but I came up with a question, Rob, a question and a comment. What you guys are proposing now is kind of what Rex was wondering if, so you're not gonna fill the part-time, the regular time, the 24-hour position if this is, but it does say for 1 year.
Yeah, for 1 year, and the reason we did that was because, you know, we can't predict what happens in overtime, and we, you know.
And that actually brings up a couple questions I have. I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing this, but on the weekly and hourly chart, or the weekly or by day chart, the 2 charts are identical, aren't they? Virtually.
The 2 that I have that I ran off on my own and printed out, one of them tells me what it is every week, and the other one that I have is the totals. Now, there may be another one in there that I felt that I didn't need to bring with me.
Okay, but these are door counts, right?
These are door counts, yes.
Okay.
We have a machine that does that.
What the question that came up in my mind was, you said you're going to evaluate the door counts in a year and then make adjustments from there. Do you have any idea what that's going to look like? Do you have any idea of what your criteria is going to be? Because if I'm looking at this door count here, you already know I'm opposed to being open on Sundays, and I see the numbers are fairly weak compared to the rest. I also sent you, Scott, Jason, a few other people, the library, when libraries are open. And we're open longer than any other library in my comparisons. We're the only library that's open on Sundays. And one thing that's been a concern of Mr. Langle and myself, I know for sure, is hours of operation. So I went through and I took your chart and I took Sunday out, which would account for 4 hours. And I actually took Friday morning at 11 a.m. startup and Saturday morning 11 a.m. startup, and both those days are probably a 3 p.m. close, which would, I believe, save 14 hours. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I am saying in all those hours that I cut, you have double-digit people in there, except one, which is Saturday late afternoon. You have double-digit people in there. So what my fear is that you're going to come back a year from now and say, well, we can't cut hours. We got way too many people in there, and I think that's a big concern of mine.
Yeah, I was very happy that you forwarded some of that information to me. And the one that most interested me, quite honestly, because we've talked a lot about Sunday being open, and it's a new thing for us and so forth and whatever. And it was interesting to see that Sioux City is open on Sundays, but not for all year.
Right.
And those would be the kind of criteria we would look at, would be one. I mean, I can't tell you exactly what, but That would be the kind of thing that we would look at. If we're not getting them, if it is, we'll say for the 3 months in the summer or 3 or 4 months in the winter or whatever, that we're not seeing the foot traffic we think would justify being open, then we would look at perhaps cutting that back. Or we may look at the whole day of Sunday, or some other date and times in there too. But we just don't think that we're ready to do those kinds of things at this point, because we're in a new facility. We've been open for less than a year. We have no idea what really the winter may or may not bring to us.
Right. And I can live with that, because I'm still gonna make a motion to hire somebody with the idea that you do not replace your 24, and you see how that year goes. But I am gonna tell you right now, I'll turn on you in a heartbeat next budget time if I think that it's not panning out. I mean, because I want a strong library, but we have to use some due diligence and common sense on our operation and how, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I agree with you 100%, Carl, and I am very happy, you know, and that makes it easier for us to do, because you and Steve are our liaisons from the city council. So you're at our meetings, you'll hear what we're talking about, and we have always been open when you're there to your comments and that kind of thing. So that makes it easier than if we would have to come somebody who doesn't really know what's going on in the library, what we've talked about at this point. We don't have to get them up to speed.
Sure.
So yes, we surely would take your input in as part of the discussion, there's no doubt about that.
With that being said, I've made it very clear that I was kind of against putting this in the budget, but since it's been put in there, and since you're coming back at us saying this is a library one position, you're also saying you're gonna hold off on we're netting out, you're getting 20 more hours.
Yeah, that's basically.
I am gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve the addition of a full-time library person, to fill the, authorizing the library board to fill such position for FY19.
Second.
I'd like to at
Is
least.
there any other questions before we vote on this?
I'd like to at least make a comment before we vote. I wasn't here, the last council meeting, but some of the things that Clark is talking about was gonna be my comment. I feel like the short time we've been in the new library, there certainly was, in the plans of the library, some efficiency built in. That I don't know that the short time we've talked about is enough time to realize exactly the business plan for what we're doing and the way people are coming or not coming. I just kind of think it's premature at this time. Another year, a little more data, I think would do well for both groups.
Well, I take, you know, your comment is quite legitimate. One of the problems we're running into, though, is that we have lost this part-time position. That the person has resigned from where we were now. So if we don't do something quickly now, we are going to struggle with scheduling even worse than we have in the past, because we'll be missing those 24 hours. So if we wait and say, well, we can't do anything that we don't do anything until after a full year of data, I understand what you're saying, and it makes some sense to me, but the library it has to run during that period of time, and and we really are not too excited about hiring a part-time person to fill that position, telling them that, well, if things turn out right, you're not going to have a job anymore after 6 months, because we can justify then having a full-time person. I mean, does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say that you generally would have a turnover. I don't know how often you have turnovers, but.
Well, we have turnover, but, yeah, I could turn that over to Shirley, but it's not, you know, we don't know. I mean, I don't know that I would come in and take a position where you tell me that it's quite possible in 6 months I won't be there.
Or they might apply for the full-time position.
They may not be qualified for the full-time, or they may not want the full-time position. But they do want, I can't project to the future, and I can just tell you what the situation is.
And my suggestion would be at this time, if I was running my business, would be that I would cut hours to accommodate the lack of a one-half person if necessary, at least at this time.
And I understand, but we are really, as a board, very, very hesitant to start denying service to people who might have come in during those times. When we have a new facility, we have a lot of momentum moving forward. We're going to see more and more our numbers and circulation and everything else, door counts, whatever you want to look at, are up by 20 to 25%. To say, well, we're going to cut services. We built a nice building, but we're going to cut services. And that's what we do. When you cut hours, you cut services. That's a fact of life.
But one of the questions that I have, because you're in a retail area, and a lot of the activities on Main Street really don't get started till 10 o'clock anymore. And I think the numbers that you have here kind of prove that. So I guess that's my comment.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I understand where you're coming from. I'll let Shirley.
I'll say, the charts are not the same. One of the charts is just a snapshot of the month of July. That's all that is July. The other chart, however, is from the date we opened in that new building, which is December 20th, forward to August 9th. That's that chart. The dates on those, how it runs, it looks like we get busy at 10, but we open, it's up until the 10 o'clock hour. So those little numbers that you see there, like 13, 21, 19, that's the staff going in and out of the door. Then when we open, and it just is the way that when I called the company, that's the way it charts. Same thing on Saturday when you said we're low towards the end of the day. At 6 is the staff running out, getting the open sign, locking the doors, all of that. So that one falls off. And the Sunday looking week, it is always gonna look less because we're only open 4 hours. So we can't bring in the numbers that we bring in for between 9 and 8 on Wednesday. But, you know, it is still, I think, a pretty healthy number since we just started it.
Sure,
But
let me ask
it
you a
needs to be
question.
looked at.
Let me ask you a question, and like I say, I'm not gonna go long on this, we beat up on it last.
Mhm.
I am where I am, but what is with Sunday? We're the only library in the area that's open on Sunday. What makes, I don't get that, I don't even get your thinking on it. I don't understand your thinking, because nobody else offers it. Sioux Center has a golf course, Anno has a golf course, Sioux City has 5 golf courses, and we've got a golf course. We've all got libraries. We've all got swimming pools, but none of them are open on Sundays. Why are we spending, 18, 20, 24 of your hours on Sundays? I just don't get it. Personnel
Oh, okay.
hours, personnel
8.
hours.
Yeah, it would be 8.
Okay, but I'm sorry, I'm just not tracking. And I'm not on board, but I'm willing to give it a year. I'm asking you a question.
Oh, well, because when we have people who are busy during the week and they're working during the week, often Sundays and Saturdays are their time to be in, and we have people who come in for church, and then they can come into the library.
The other towns have the exact same thing. The other towns have those exact same people. So I'm scratching my head. We'll leave it rhetorical.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions regarding this project?
Thought they did a good job of supplying what I asked for at the last council meeting, and I think I'm in favor of it. I didn't know that we had that many part-time people at the library. And at the last meeting, they commented the other full-time person appears to be, 3 years away from retirement or something. I don't think changed. So I think we've got to have another full-time person.
And I visited with Rob about it also, and I'm comfortable with the numbers as supplied.
Well, there's a motion on the table and a second.
Let's go ahead and vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Motion carried. All right. Moving on.
Thanks, guys.
Keep
Thanks for
supplying us
coming.
with numbers, okay, please?
Yeah, thanks.
At least on a quarterly basis.
All right, let's move on to D3, which is a tax exemption request. At the August 7th, 2018 meeting, the council denied a request from Adam Brown for a 100% tax exemption for a period of 10 years in place of a 100% tax exemption for a period of 7 years currently offered by the city's Urban Renewal Revitalization Plan. The council recommended further discussion take place between Adam Brown and the city staff to find other options for assistance. That discussion was held, and attached is a development agreement which would add 3 years of the tax rebate onto the property. The recommendation is to approve a 3-year tax abatement rebate of city taxes due to begin after the city urban renewal revitalization plan is 7 years, 100% tax exemption complete. The financial impact of that project, or by adding that, would be removed. The rebate has a maximum of $20,000 a year. Questions from anybody?
Can somebody tell me how we calculated the $20,000?
Yeah, Jason can.
If you remember, part of the urban revitalization plan captures all taxes.
Yep.
Okay. If we go outside that program, we cannot rebate county taxes.
So
We cannot-
city taxes,
So this
understand.
is just city taxes.
But-
And that difference last time, Rex, was 66,000 or something like that.
Understand, but to get to 20,000, we've gotta have $5 million of value for this property. Because we got a rollback of 40 cents on the dollar right now for apartments, right? Doesn't it roll it back 40%?
Yeah, what is it now? Well, I think that, this is all based off 2.9.
Well, there's no way it gets to 20,000 in a year. Doesn't get there. Just 2.9 times the rollback, 60 to 70% would only be $2 million. And I don't think that's gonna get to 20,000 a year, but
It came to 20, the city's share, 'cause, I mean, it's all estimates, Rex, because it's,
is that with the rollback counted though? That's what.
yeah, the rollback is all figured in there.
Because that, I thought it went to the same as the residential over time.
Because we don't know, yeah, because once it gets out to FY '24, that's all the farther they have.
Right. And that percentage rollback is at what then? Is it 55 or
I don't
something?
know.
But it's the same percentage.
The
basically.
formula's in there, I don't know what the percentage is off the top of my head.
And we're not gonna actually, it's not actually, is it a rebate that we're gonna give the money back in year 8, 9, and 10?
9 and 10, he will pay his taxes.
And then we'll send it
He'll
back.
bring in the receipt, and then we will rebate him that amount.
And this guy, this councilman is fine with this for this project at 2.7 million, but I'm not gonna do it on projects of a couple $100,000 or something like that.
Rex, but where are you gonna draw the line? I think it's a slippery slope.
I don't think it's a slippery. I think if the guy's gonna put in 38 units and bring 38 people into town, I don't think that's a slippery slope for $20,000 a year for just 3 years. I don't think that's a big deal. I think if you got $1,000 for a duplex a year for years 5 through 10, I think you got me on the other side of the fence. But I'm okay with this for this project, for that size, but I think it's gotta be stated, that's why we're doing it. It's that size, it's gonna bring 38 families, potentially at least 2/3 of them from out of town into town, then it's okay.
It's based on project benefit.
But this is not no universal, Rex stamp approved, boom, we're done. No, this is for this project, for this dollar amount, for these many units, case by case basis. Because I still sit there, and in year 11, I'm still picking up $20,000 a year of city taxes from this guy, on top of the 38 families being in town. So, and we got utilities and all that kind of stuff that we get off of them too. But if he comes back 6 months in the project and wants us to put in frontage road in, or extra cement, or extra concrete, nope. I already done this. This is it, man. This is all you get. Period. End of story, at least from this councilman's perspective.
That's how the discussion started, Rex, when I think I met with Adam the Wednesday following the last council meeting. That's how I started the conversation. I didn't want to get into, because this option was thrown out at the last council meeting, of
Yeah.
adding extra years.
Yep.
So I started that conversation with, I didn't want to get into the slippery slope of all of a sudden paying for Adams or another developer's concrete or improvements on their private properties.
Yep.
Because we would get a heck of a lot more feedback if we started doing
I'm 100% in favor of this and 0% against it. But I'm over 50% in favor of it, so that's why I'm gonna vote yes, but it needs to be very specific, case-by-case basis, and because of the size of the project, that's why I'm thinking it's a good deal for the city.
We had this conversation when Adam needed the parking changed, the off-street parking. Didn't we pay for concrete? That was not in the original plan, because the neighbor next door got more parking.
On the first one, because the first one needed more spots, and we couldn't put them all on that, airport road, we'll call it.
Yeah, that's my recall.
We couldn't fit them because of intakes and fire hydrants and driveways, so the number, if you looked on it just by the length or the width of his lot, we should have got 10 in there, or some number. But because of driveways and intake and other things, it got reduced to like 5 or 6.
Are we gonna have the same situation with this project?
We may.
Can we avoid the same conversation?
Well, we talked about that too. We're gonna try to avoid all of that because, the plan that Adam will bring me of the layout of that property is gonna show all this stuff, so he's gonna know that ahead of time. I don't believe there is, just going off of memory, I don't think there's any other obstacles in this other than his driveways.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotta have driveways to get in there. But if we say right now, I mean, you made the comment, Rex, that we're not coming back for anything
No,
else.
this is not every meeting we're gonna deal with you on your project.
Well, but Jason, we had a drawing of that project, and it got by everybody, myself included, on the number of apartments versus the number of spaces sitting down on that project. So I'm not pointing fingers at, that's not what it's about, but we had that plan. So this next plan, because we had the same thing at the Ave, we approved whatever, and he comes back and says, wow, I'm short so many, so we gotta put them on the street. We had the same thing. So I anticipated on his third project, because his last two have